What's up, everybody? Wes Hodkiewicz here, joined alongside my colleague at Packers.com, Mike Spofford, and we are back, folks. Another year of Packers Preview, brought to you by Microsoft Copilot. Mike, can you believe it? It is week one of the NFL season. The Green Bay Packers, the Detroit Lions, the first time in 7 years, a week one home opener at Lambeau Field. It doesn't get much better than this.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking opening the season at home for the first time in the Matt LaFleur era, and the opening opponent is the two-time defending NFC North champion Detroit Lions. You can't start the season any better way.
So if you've never participated in this before, this is our live Q&A. Mike and I will be here for the next 10 to 15 minutes answering all of your questions. If you bring those to the Packers accounts on YouTube, on X, and also on Facebook, our wonderful social staff will send them over to me, and I will bounce them off Mike Spofford. But Mike, before we get into the questions, we did get the Packers and the Lions injury report before we popped in here. 7 Packers players in total are questionable for this matchup. Those 7, for those scoring at home, are safety Zane Anderson, cornerback Nate Hobbs. You also have receiver Jaden Reed, defensive lineman Barron Sorrell, receiver Dontavian Wicks, receiver Savion Williams, and yes, defensive lineman Micah Parsons. We kind of anticipated that we'd probably end up seeing Parsons' name on there, obviously coming back from the back injury. He practiced all week, all 4 practices, including the Wednesday padded practice, was limited. And we'll have to wait and see what the future has in store for us here on Sunday.
Yeah, I don't think there are any surprises on that injury report. I mean, the bulk of the list are the guys who were injured in training camp, in and out of practice, all that kind of stuff. And then obviously Parsons on the list as the new arrival and him dealing with the back injury. So, yeah, I don't consider there to be any surprises on that list for Green Bay. Pretty much what we expected. And I guess we'll find out right around 1:55 Central Time on Sunday.
I'm glad you said that.
Exactly who is active and who is not.
A 3:25 p.m. Central start time, a game that can be viewed on CBS. All right, Mike, we can dive into the questions here. The first one of the season will belong to Will Marsh. This one is over on X. Does Matt LaFleur have a trick play up his sleeve to open up the season? We did see back in 2022, they went into US Bank Stadium. They dialed up that deep route. The first snap that I think Christian Watson took in his NFL career was a deep go ball at US Bank. We'll see what they have in store for this one.
Yeah, I mean, who the heck knows, right? I mean, I wouldn't put anything past Matt LaFleur and the fact that you've got another highly touted rookie receiver, right? Just like Watson back in 2022, you got Matthew Golden. You spent a first-round pick on him. He is a speed burner who can get behind people. We'll just have to see. But yeah, I don't think Matt LaFleur is exactly going to tell us in advance what he's doing there.
Probably not. What I will say, though, what's been fun about this potential game, I think, is the fact that there are so many unknowns. Now, obviously, there's a little bit more of a known commodity with Green Bay because of the returning coordinators, because of the returning talent. But you add in the Matthew Golden effect, if Savion Williams is out there, what he could potentially bring to this thing. And then in Detroit's perspective, 2 new coordinators. And that was sort of one of the underlying things. We didn't really have like a headline story on Packers.com this week, but there are a lot of different changes that are in store here with the Lions now that Ben Johnson's in Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, I look at, as far as comparing last year facing the Lions to now this year, I consider there to be 3 major changes. One is the coordinators. You've got John Morton now coordinating the offense, Kelvin Shepard now coordinating the defense. They have replaced Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn, who both got head coaching jobs elsewhere. The second big change is the Lions have kind of had to revamp the interior of their offensive line. Still have Penei Sewell and Taylor Decker at the tackle spots, but they've got a couple of young guys at guard. They moved a guard, Glasgow, over to center because Frank Ragnow retired. So the whole interior of that offensive line for the Lions is new. And then the third piece that is different comparing last year to this year with the Lions is that Aiden Hutchinson will be back. He only played the first 5 games last season before he broke his leg, was out the rest of the year. He did not face the Packers in either of the 2 matchups against Green Bay. He's certainly done his share of damage against the Packers in the past, but the Packers did not have to face him last year.
Stefan Theobald, greetings from Germany. Go Pack, go. Mike, say hello to Germany.
Hi, Germany.
There you go. Thanks for joining us, Stefan, or Stefan. I don't know exactly how that's going to go. Okay. This one is over by Bob on Facebook from Carolina. What is your most concerning questionable injury besides 11? Well, you're kind of changing the quantitative value of all that there, Bob. But listen, I think Green Bay in a lot of ways is erring on the side of caution here. I mean, certainly there's 7 guys questionable. I doubt everybody plays, when you have that type of situation. But all 53 guys practiced on Thursday and on Friday. Now, mind you, those were the non-padded practices. The Wednesday practice, that's where Nate Hobbs was yet to come back. That is the one, obviously, where Jaden Reed, as he works through that foot injury, didn't practice as they try to find out a proper plan for him and something that's going to work with him to be able to get through this thing. I don't know if necessarily there's a concerning injury. I think the one that I think when I look at this is the fact that Hobbs did get back on Thursday and seeing exactly how quickly he can make that turn. But, Matt LaFleur had some really nice things to say about him today and just his mindset, his mentality, and obviously having some years in the NFL if duty calls for it on Sunday to be out there.
Yeah, that's the one I think that I would put at the top of my list, other than, of course, Parsons, because of all of the hype with his arrival and whatnot. But in terms of the guys who have been here throughout training camp in Green Bay, Hobbs is the injury that I'm most curious about, because he did miss the bulk of training camp, where he really was only practicing for about a week before he went to have the procedure done on his knee. They shut him down for the rest of training camp. And if he is unable to go, that your top 3 cornerbacks essentially are Keyshawn Nixon, Carrington Valentine, and then Javon Bullard, the safety/nickel corner, playing in the slot. But if Hobbs is not available, then immediately your depth at cornerback goes to Kamal Hadden and Bo Melton, 2 guys who have not played cornerback in regular season action as NFL players. Now, of course, they've both been around the NFL for multiple years and done their own thing, special teams, and obviously Melton was on the offensive side of the ball and all that. But if the Packers have to tap into that depth at cornerback, if Hobbs is indeed not available or if somebody else were to get hurt, that's where things get really interesting, because the depth there is just not experienced for Green Bay.
Yeah, Tanya Sanders on Facebook, I'll take this one, Mike. Is there a concern with injuries, a concern about injuries with 6-7 guys questionable heading into this game? 6-7? No, I don't have a concern. I think they'll be fine. On YouTube, my guy Matt Pickett. Hello, gents. Hello, Matt.
Hey, Matt.
What is the biggest question that you hope to gain some clarity on in this game against the Detroit Lions?
Boy, that's...
I'll take it.
Go ahead.
You want some time to think?
I'll
Maybe
think.
get a nice little swig of water.
Maybe I'll do
Formulate, populate your thoughts.
Yeah.
You did this. I'm going to steal your final thoughts thing for tomorrow, but it does come down to the trenches and the physicality.
Yeah.
The Detroit Lions, it's not just Green Bay. Detroit has been kind of punching everybody in the mouth the last few years, and I think there's a certain thing that every team that faces them has to kind of be able to meet that standard, right? Like, I think some social media algorithms and different aggregators sort of took the Micah Parsons comment a little out of context this week about him talking about how he doesn't like the Lions. Well, the main reason for that is because they were a thorn in the side for the Cowboys too, even though they didn't share a division for them.
Yeah.
This has been a team that has been a standard bearer in the National Football League, and the way that they've built this thing up with Dan Campbell, you have the culture that has been really set there now for 4 or 5 years. And now you have a lot of very talented football players that Brad Holmes has put in that locker room, that his staff have helped put in that locker room. The Green Bay Packers have to be able to meet that physicality. They have to be able to meet that aggression. I feel like that is where, from day one that Dan Campbell got there, even when the talent wasn't there, he instilled that in that locker room from the moment he was on that staff.
Yeah, and I think you're absolutely right about that, and that sort of leads to the whole question of when you're looking at one of the reasons the Packers got swept by the Lions last year, and where you want to try to turn the tables, is can the Packers stop the Lions on 4th down when they go for it? 6 out of 7 last year in the 2 games. You can stop that anytime now.
Sorry.
6 out of 7 in the 2 games, and all those 4th down conversions by the Lions were significant, right? We know that. We don't have to go through them chapter and verse. So Packers need to be able to stand up to Detroit. There are going to be a number of series in this game where it's going to take 4 downs to stop them, not just 3. You know that when you're going into a game against Detroit.
WA, which I think stands for Washington, Pack fan, what are you expecting the energy to be like in Lambeau Field? Matt LaFleur was not tipping his hand. He did not say whether or not the defense will be the ones that are introduced on Sunday. If I had, and there's no gambling in Bushwood, but I mean, if I had to think about it, I would say I would imagine the defense does, and as I wrote in Insider Inbox, I mean, it's my headline for tomorrow's inbox. Another spoiler is, I mean, the thought of it just gives you goosebumps of Micah Parsons coming out for the very first time in the Lambeau Field crowd meeting him.
Yeah, no question about it. If Matt LaFleur wants to consult his quarterback, Jordan Love pretty much laid it out there on Wednesday. Like, he doesn't need to walk out to the roar of the crowd. He's good if the Packers want to go with announcing the defense, having Micah Parsons be the last player announced, and firing up the crowd. So I think that would be a tremendous moment.
His parents named him Mike Spofford. I eventually was named Wes Hodkowitz. We're here for a couple more minutes. Packers preview presented by Microsoft Copilot. This question is from Jeremy over on YouTube. Is Jordan Love and Rashawn Gary the two most important players for the Packers' success this season? Micah is going to open up lanes for Gary.
I mean, I agree with that. Certainly agree with that last comment. I think the impact that Micah Parsons can have on this defense is obviously not just whatever statistics Micah Parsons can rack up. It's the way he can help his teammates to be more impactful and show up on the stat sheet even more. So I'm definitely interested to see how that plays out. But yeah, the player at the top of the list is Jordan Love.
Yes.
I mean, this is his third season as a starter. You cross your fingers, knock on wood, all that he has a healthier season than he had last year. He dealt with multiple injuries, things even when he was playing. He did miss some time, but then when he did come back and was playing, he was fighting through things. He wasn't 100%. He wasn't always taking all the snaps in practice every week because he had to focus a lot of attention on just getting his body ready to be able to play the game. So all of those things, factored into some of the ups and downs from last year. So you hope things go healthier and smoother this year for Jordan Love. And if they do, I think we see Jordan Love and this offense go to another level.
Are you ready for, I think, what is a first in all our years doing Packers preview? I don't think this has ever happened before. Okay. This question is from Facebook, and I apologize because I'm probably going to mispronounce the name here. I think it's Rico Black or Recco. I apologize. Feel free to submit it in there. I'd be happy to pronounce it correctly. Hello. I'm from Shelby, North Carolina, Tyron Hopper's mother. He played cornerback his entire high school career, and I will tell you, you be the one that could probably speak to this better than anybody. There has been no bigger fan of Tyron Hopper for the past month, even going into last season, than me. When you mentioned that he played played cornerback his entire high school career, I believe it. I think this guy, the opportunities have been somewhat difficult, especially last year for him to come across. As he came in, I think there might have been a couple injuries there early on, and then he was mostly on special teams. I thought he had one of the most impressive camps. I'm not just saying that because of potential mothers here in the chat, but I was so blown away by, because what they did throughout camp, and you can speak to this, was Isaiah McDuffie filling in, and then when Quay Walker was out there, those were your Mike linebackers. The number 2 Mike linebacker from the beginning of training camp through the last preseason game was Tyron Hopper, in addition to the fact that he is an absolute tackling machine. So we'll see how the season works out, and how the snaps unfold. But that third-round pick, for as much focus has been put on Edgerrin Cooper. Yeah. I mean, Hopper, I feel, really has come on.
Yeah, and I think, let's be honest, I think we would have seen more of Tyron Hopper during his rookie season had he not missed, the time that he missed early on in training camp and all of that with the injuries and stuff that he was dealing with. So, but yeah, you said it. He's a tackling machine. When I watch him, I see a guy not only that packs a punch when he hits, but a guy that just seems to have that natural instinct to find the football. So to hear that he played cornerback in high school, that does not surprise me at all, because it's just you see the instincts to be around the ball, to find it, go where it is. He's just got that, and that leads to the anticipation, and then always trying to be a step ahead of the other guy, even though he's not a linebacker with, say, the open field speed of an Edgerrin Cooper, but he can still play very fast because of his instincts and anticipation.
Did you see that clip of him in Indy? The one where I forget which running play was. I think it was against Tyler Goodson. They're trying to run a stretch play. And Hopper sees through all the chaos in front of him and is able to keep pressing the gas through all of it and gets from point A to point B. I think he ended up getting like maybe a 1 or 2 yard tackle for a loss. He was the first guy to meet the running back. And he's doing this outside that. At this point, it's outside the numbers.
Yeah.
That, to me, when you think of inside linebacker play, middle linebacker play, that's what you're looking for, and I think he definitely checks that box.
I think so too.
Couple more minutes here, and we got a bunch of questions rolling in, several of which are from and about Matthew Golden. So I'm going to kind of put it all together. I'm going to give some people some shout-outs. So they come in here, they ask questions, they take time out of their day to engage with us. So I want to get their names out there, and then you can just kind of make whatever you want of this, okay? This was from Thomas Ham. How do y'all think offensive coordinator, the offensive coordinator uses Matthew Golden's and his development on offense? This question was from Chris Jordan from Australia. Good morning from Australia. What impact does Golden need to have to lift the Packers this season? And then Ben Swanson over on YouTube. GB typically eases rookies in. We don't really think Matthew Golden will get that treatment, and he'll be on the field a lot, right? I'll tell you what, Mike. You go back a couple years ago, Christian Watson had a start. So, there's no random streaks where there hasn't been a rookie that started before. But the fact that the Packers put him on the depth chart as one of the 3 starting wideouts, I think tells you exactly what they think about him.
Yep.
And also just watching him throughout training camp. Again, not just at the receiver position, was one of the more consistent performers throughout the summer.
I thought so too. And I'm, as curious as the next person as to exactly all the different ways that Matt LaFleur and the offensive coaches are going to want to call on Matthew Golden, because we saw a lot of different things in training camp. There are the short underneath routes, where you're trying to clear some space and then see if you can hit him in stride and whatnot. Then you have the intermediate routes where, he can run to the sticks and, scare the defender into thinking he's going deep and then spin around and the ball is there and he's going to snatch it with those hands. We saw that time and time again. And then, of course, when you can run a 4.29, you are always a threat to take the top off the defense as well. So how exactly, what is going to be his primary role in terms of all of those variations? I don't know. I don't think any of us know at this point, because we just have to see how it unfolds in the games. But man, he looks like the real deal. I've been saying that, over the course of training camp and during this week 1, he absolutely looks like the real deal, and I can't wait to see him in the real action.
David Davis, and I do not expect you to know this, but I'm only doing this because sometimes you do know these things. It's a little trivia, okay? And then maybe David will follow up, or he'll tweet at me what the answer is, or we can just go look it up ourselves. The last time the Packers opened against the Lions was September 9th, 2001. Do you remember the Lions starting quarterback in that game?
Oh my gosh. Well, September 9th, 2001, was that the opener of Ford Field?
So would that be Charlie Batch?
Boy.
Maybe Charlie Batch? I'm not sure.
Yeah,
we'll look it up afterwards.
We will.
But I want. Sometimes you're like,
no,
I've known this. I
curious
came out of the womb
was,
knowing that.
Was that the inaugural game at Ford Field? Was that when the Lions officially opened that stadium for regular season action? I'm trying to remember.
We got to get going here.
Yeah.
We're running out of time. But YouTube, Horizons Inc. Hi from Germany again. What is your favorite of the new foods served at the game, and why? And you won't want to miss out right away.
I say you have to take this one. Yeah.
My time. Okay. Hard camera. They have concocted and created this brat egg roll. I need you to try it. I need you to get up to wherever it is in the stadium. I wish I could tell you where it is. I don't know. But you need to try these brat egg rolls, because it's one of the best things that I think our friends at Delaware North have ever made. Chef Zach, fantastic. Brat egg roll. Find a guest services person. Ask them for the brat egg roll. Don't do that. They have plenty of other things to worry about. But I'm just telling you, go get the brat egg roll. Yeah, this is an interesting question from Joe. It's a good question, and Parsons talked about it. Parsons said he has always had a Pro Bowl corner. Who do you think can be the one to capitalize on the impact that Parsons will have? I think everybody.
Yeah.
I love you.
That's a wide open question.
I want you to take this, but the reason I jumped on this right away was Derek Ansley probably had the quote of our little availability today with the assistant coaches when he was asked about Parsons, because he'd seen him, plenty of them, during his past.
Sure.
And he mentioned, he's like, he as a secondary coach, he is a game accelerator. He makes everything faster, not just the pass, the run too. The game moves faster because number one now in this case is on the field. I look at Nate Hobbs. I look at Javon Bullard now in the slot. I look at Keyshawn Nixon potentially. Xavier McKinney on the back end had 8 picks last year. What's possible now if the ball's coming out a tick quicker?
Or what's possible for Evan Williams if people are staying away from Xavier McKinney because of what he did last year as a first-team All-Pro. So I'm with you. I think the possibilities in terms of the answer to that particular question, I think the possibilities are wide open.
So this game on Sunday, guess what? It's a home game. That means there is another edition of the Packers Game Day program. This particular edition, edited by yours truly, Nicole Tim upstairs, my co-editor, Tim Chapman Designs, helping lay this thing out. We have Jordan Love, his new center, Elton Jenkins, and also Romeo Dobbs on the cover of this one. You can pick those up at the game on Sunday. And also, to fans in attendance, I get to be like John Cena here for a second.
Oh, yeah.
You get a cooling towel as well for your admittance into Lambeau Field. Be sure to check that out. I'm going to pick that up later. My son is going to love that. I'm just trying to look cool, and I didn't know where else to put it. Michael, for the Green Bay Packers to come out 1-0. For them to turn around this rivalry, this tide here with the Detroit Lions, what needs to happen for the Packers to pick up that first W?
I think the thing at the top of the list is to contain that running game of the Lions because they have a legitimate two-headed monster there with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, 2 different types of backs, but both really productive, both very dangerous. And you're making this very short notice transition with your run defense that you no longer have Kenny Clark in there. And there's going to be a process, there's going to be an evolution to exactly how the Packers run defense is going to put itself in the best position to hopefully maintain the type of ranking that the run defense had last year. This is a massive test out of the gate with those 2 running backs from the Detroit Lions, and I think the game most likely hinges there.
The first 4th down for the Lions from the -40 in has been my key to victory. The first time that Detroit thinks about going for it or they actually do go for it, how do the Packers meet that challenge? Hey, I got one more question for you.
Okay.
It's from Doris Pringle.
Doris.
Your friend on Facebook.
Yep.
Hi, guys. Hi, Doris. Good to see you again. Well, good to see you. Good to see you stream again. Yes, we're very happy to be here. Can we start a new Friday tradition and have Mike showcase his fit? Friday fit checks with Spoff, maybe. Please do a 360. Good night, everybody. It's your moment.
No,
you got the Travis Matthews stuff on and everything.
Oh.
You look good. No? You're not going to give the people what they want?
I don't think so.
You have to, Doris, you're going to have to come to a pep rally. Mike walks the runway at the pep rally. First one of those, by the way, a couple weeks away.
Yeah, so we're not too far from having that one.
Oh, I literally was, I was walking down here, we got to go, but as I was walking down here, I was almost in stunned silence, the fact that we were doing this again. Like, the fact that we're here.
Yeah.
This is the beginning of the NFL season. Preseason's done, training camp's done, the draft happened in Green Bay. And now there is a real meaningful football game to be played against biggest rival.
It's been an offseason like no other around here. When you talk about the draft, a first-round wide receiver, if I could spit that out without sounding like a 4-year-old, and
I just said Packers.
And then the blockbuster trade on the eve of Week 1, bringing in one of the best defensive players in the entire league and throwing him into the mix with your team. This has been, it's been an off season like no other, and we'll see what the regular season has to bring. 2025 has been a year that I will never forget, and we will soon find out if it'll be a season the Green Bay Packers will never forget. He's Mike Spofford. I'm Wes Hodkiewicz. We thank you, as always, for joining us on Packers Preview. Stay tuned to Packers.com throughout the week. Also, the Packers mobile app got a big renovation, I believe, the last couple days. Kudos to everybody on our team that was responsible for that. Mike's one last look will be up tomorrow. We both have written a litany of Micah Parsons stories, if you want to read those, on Packers.com. Also my story on Matthew Golden and his number switch and also his anticipation for the opener this Sunday, 3:25 p.m. Central Start Time. CBS, Green Bay Packers, Detroit Lions. For Mike, I'm Wes. We'll see you later.